Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist. We interview the world's leading apologists to provide credible answers to curious questions. Jason, why do so many Christian marriages end in divorce?
Well, here's actually the good news. In recent studies now, they're showing that a lot of Christian marriages are not necessarily ending in divorce, even though there are tons of marriages that are ending in divorce. But the good news is, Bobby, that it's not the 50% of marriages in a divorce for Christians like the world. So I think for our audience to realize that it's not as bad as people say, but a lot of Christian marriages do end in a divorce, okay? And you know what? The number one reason is unforgiveness. When you really look at it and it's the totality, it's not about finances. It's not necessarily about the children. There are adultery cases, unfaithfulness, things like that. And those are biblical grounds for someone, if they had to, being unfortunately led down that path, have to make that choice, and they have biblical grounds to do that. But what I found though, and when you look at the surveys and studies and interviewing couples, is they have turned against the standards of God. They neglect the roles and responsibilities of husband and a wife. And then when there is conflict, when you have the disagreements, when you have the arguing that then leads to fighting, if you will, and they never come back together and reconcile, bitterness springs forth into their heart, as Hebrews 12 talks about. And what you find eventually with these Christian couples who started off loving one another and wanting to be faithful and committed to one another, but they let a root of bitterness spring forth, and they were unwilling at some point to stop sweeping things under the rug, and they let unforgiveness take control. And a lot of Christian marriages have ended, not because of infidelity, not because of financial reasons, not because they didn't parent on the same page, but because they were unwilling at some point to forgive their spouse.